In today's video, we're going to talk about how full-time RV life changed us for the good and the bad.
It isn't all rose-colored glasses all the time. It's good a lot of the time, but not all the time. So if you're thinking about full-time RV life, we're going to tell you about the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. So stick around. So we are Barry and Darlene Nicholson. We have been full-time on the road in our Alliance toy hauler for a little over 2 years now.
We're originally from Sarasota, Florida, so when our two kids grew up, moved out of the house, we became empty nesters. We were like a lot of people. We were just kind of bored with our regular everyday lives, and we decided, wow, this RV full-time life on the road thing sounds like a great adventure. And it is.
Yeah.
For the last 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Sometimes things are a little too adventurous in the not so great way.
So let's get into how RV life has changed us for the good. So first off, I think of all the amazing places we never would have seen before.
Yeah, absolutely. Because when we lived in Florida, you know, you only get maybe a couple weeks vacation. We both just have regular day jobs, or at least we did when we both started. I still work a full-time regular day gig. Darlene works on the YouTube channel now, but it's still a lot of work.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, when we had regular jobs, we would have maybe 2 weeks of vacation a year. One of those weeks would be going back to Indiana for Christmas. And one of those weeks we would go on a cruise, because that's what everybody in Florida does when they go on vacation.
It's the cheapest thing to do. Yeah. So,
well, it's the most value added thing to do. We highly recommend. I'd love to go on another cruise sometime soon.
Yeah. But we would never have probably seen Utah. We probably would have never traveled the California and Oregon coast, which are some of our most memorable trips that we've been on so far in our 2 years. Utah, Zion, Bryce Canyon, the beautiful scenery. And when we were there, we boondocked. That was one of the first real adventurous boondocking trips that we did. And it is, to me, still a pinch yourself. I remember sitting by the campfire on this total amazing spot we had, and just looking at it and going, it's a Wednesday and this is our life. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So that, if anything, it's changed us for the better, because it's given us an appreciation of the true beauty of this incredible country. And we haven't even seen it all. We've seen a lot of it. I was looking at our little map thing that we have in the RV the other day, and I was like, wow, we've been to a lot of places, but we still haven't been up the East Coast. We haven't been up to like Rhode Island or Maine or any of that stuff. We'll get there eventually. Yeah. But
the adventure, that's what it's about, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we're all doing this, right? Or that's, if you're watching this video, that's probably what you hope to do. Well, let me tell you, it's awesome.
It is.
Another thing that's been great is that traveling around in an RV, taking your home with you everywhere you go, gives you the opportunity to go. And in our case, we're born and raised in Southern Indiana, and most of our family still lives there. So we get to go back and visit for 3 weeks at a time. Mm-hmm. Which is something, again, when we lived in Florida for 15 plus years, we would have never done that. We would have maybe went back for 4 or 5 days and then headed back. And it was usually during Christmas, which was super busy. So this has enabled us to go back home to Indiana and spend quality time. I'll just go to my mom's, my brothers will come over, and we'll just sit there and talk.
And hang out and have really just, really get into their lives, see what they're doing, what their kids are doing. And it's just the things that we didn't get to do before. So if you do have family that's spread around the country, grandchildren, children, it gives you the opportunity to go visit with them longer, which is just an amazing thing to be able to do. Another thing that we have found is we have rekindled old relationships with friends that we haven't seen. Okay, so I was in my early 20s. We lived in Dallas, and I made friends with these girls that we all worked in the same office. We were all young, pretty much we were all young married couples, and we would go out and do things together all the time. I haven't seen them in 30 years.
But you keep up on Facebook, that kind of stuff. You watch each other's kids grow up and graduate from high school.
So you kind of feel like you still know them, but you haven't physically been in their presence or seen them in that way in a long time. And it's like a day hasn't gone by. We visited 3 of them so far, and it has just been it's just so awesome. Even if it's just a one night dinner, it's just so awesome to be able to see people again. And we've spent a week at a time with our best friend Jason, who lives in Santa Barbara.
Yeah, and that's something that, I mean, Jason had lived in California for years and years at the same time that we lived in Florida. Darlene saw him once,
Yeah.
and so now in less than 2 years, we've been there twice.
Yeah,
and
for a week.
And we've hung out there for a week.
Yeah.
And
those are things that you can plan into your trip planning, and it makes RV travel, especially full time, so special. Hey guys, I'm going to break in real quick in this video to tell you about an exciting opportunity you have to win this HoloView backup camera and TPMS combo system. It's a $600 value and you can win it. And there's no any extras that you have to pay. They'll ship it straight to you if you're the winner. We'll draw at the end of the month. So this is real time, December 2024. This is a drawing going for this month only. However, if you happen to be watching this later, check our website because we do drawings all the time. Again, go to likethere'snotomorrow.net. And I'll put the QR code on the screen, and if you're watching on the TV, you can just scan it and it'll take you there. But just scroll down a little bit. All you have to give is your first name and your email, and you're registered, and we'll announce the winner at the end of the month. Now I have to tell you, we are getting ready to review this HoloView in an upcoming video, but we have heard nothing but rave reviews from other RVers that we know that already have this. So we're super excited because I think the technology is way better than what we have right now. And I love the idea of having a combination in one unit rather than all these separate things that you have to check while you're driving. So this is a major upgrade for a lot of people. So if this interests you, head over to likethere'snotomorrow.net, get registered, and good luck. So another thing that's changed us for the good is that when you shed, for us, we sold everything. We rented our house out the first year, but we had to get the house empty because it was an annual rental. And so we decided to just go ahead and purge, get rid of everything. We kept a storage unit for just a little while, for like 6 months. And then we realized
that was a mistake,
that we didn't want that. We weren't going to need that stuff. We ended up just giving the mementos and the special things to family members instead. And it saved us a ton of money. That transition from house full of stuff to small RV, that minimalist mindset that you kind of transition to me was one of the best things to happen. We had all these things that, you accumulate all these things and you don't look at them and you don't touch them, and there's stuff back in closets and in the garage and all these, and you really don't miss them. Guys, you really don't. I don't miss hardly anything from our house.
Darlene still shops. She just doesn't buy anything.
I don't.
How awesome is that?
I do. I will go, and I'll, like, one of my favorite things to do is to go to Target because you can get a little Starbucks and just browse around. I will find every reason not to buy something because I don't want to have to figure out where to put it.
Yeah, it is 110% true. I mean, I have my toys. People wonder, we do have a 44-foot toy hauler. We do not have the big toys. We don't have a motorcycle or anything like that. Not that I'd like to have one, but that's not any time in my near future. We have a couple nice e-bikes. Those go with us, but I have fishing gear. I don't need any more fishing gear. I'm from Florida again, and I did a lot of saltwater fishing on weekends, and there's always something to spend money on, like a boat or a bigger boat motor and all those kinds of, you get more of that materialistic mindset. Whereas now I have a pretty nice setup. I have an inflatable boat. I have, rods and reels.
Yeah.
I have plenty of stuff, really more. I just need to kind of double down and go use it.
Yeah.
And get out there and adventure.
You totally do. You get into this, I really don't need another pair of jeans. I don't really need another pair of dress shoes because
I do need a new pair.
Oh, it actually does right now. But that's another story. You end up
I'm doing all this bending over, working in an RV, and you kind of rip the bottom of your pants.
It might be.
It happens.
TMI.
I'm just keeping it real for the audience because all the guys are out there going, yep. It happens.
But you end up wearing the same stuff. So that minimalist mindset really starts to come into play. Now, I know a lot of people with smaller rigs would say you still have too much junk in that big old toy hauler. Well, you may be right, but it's a whole lot less than a house. So whatever rig you have, that mindset changes. Someday we'll probably go smaller too, and then we'll have to do that again. But I think that is such a positive thing because it really makes you value the things that you do have and you do keep.
Okay, so I wouldn't necessarily call this a positive if I was looking at it the wrong way, which is I've had to become Mr. Fix It. And if you're going to be a full time RVer, you are absolutely
Yeah.
going to have to become Mr. Fix It. And I was not that guy when we just lived in a regular sticks and bricks home because, well, for one, I didn't have a lot of time. I was a professional musician on weekends, so I had a regular day job, and then I was also a musician, made a lot of money, so I would just pay people to do stuff, right? So, but we also lived in the sticks and bricks homes that didn't break all the time.
Yeah.
RVs break all the time. I mean, all the time. People will tell you that. It is 110% true.
Not a lie.
Here's something new that just happened within the last, I don't know, 72 hours. Our inverter for our solar is overheating. So,
and we just had our solar worked or fixed because it wasn't working right. So it's like a new problem with that. And you know, it happens. We have a kind of issue going on with our water heater. I'm sorry, we have an issue with our heater.
Well, I'm sure that's coming.
Yeah.
But no, it's the furnace.
The furnace.
The furnace. So I've bought a new thermostat. If that wasn't it, I've done some other things. Now I've got a new circuit board. Why not?
Yeah.
You know, so I'm trying to fix stuff. You know, I'm trying not to hire mobile techs if I can avoid it. I think mobile techs are great, but they make their money. I mean, it's $150 an hour.
Yeah.
And so if they even show up, you're going to be out $200-300 most likely, even regardless of what you get fixed.
Yeah.
So, you know,
learning to fix things is part of the life, but it can be, you could see that as a positive. Every time something goes wrong and we have to, you know, go out there and research trying to, you know, figure out what's wrong with it, you learn so much more about your rig. It just helps you in the long run and it saves you a lot of money.
So we're actually seriously considering going and joining the NRVTA's training academy. I think they have that. They have actually like physical event where you can go down there and it's a hands-on training. Some friends of ours or watchers at the channel have done the training, said it's fantastic. We would actually have to take a week off and go do it. I'm thinking about actually making that happen. They do have an online training version of it that you can sign up for where you just basically watch videos. We're thinking that's probably a really good investment.
Yeah. So regardless if you're part-time or weekender, or if you have an RV, you're going to need to fix it no matter what. And that NRVTA training, the online training, is really cool because even if you didn't want to go through the whole thing at once, which it's a lot to go through all at once, you know, as things happen, you have an electrical problem, go to the electrical part of the training and look and see if it helps you. Same thing, plumbing problem, go to the plumbing part of the training. So it's kind of nice to just have it in your back pocket. I'll put all the information to the NRVTA in the description. If you're interested, you know, it's just a good investment for you in general. But I think that is a positive, Barry, learning how to fix the rig.
I mean, you do have a sense of accomplishment, and it's not just fixing stuff all the time. Occasionally you buy stuff that you need to install. You know, upgrades, that kind of thing. And when you get it done and it looks right and it operates correctly, you're just like, oh, okay, I did that. That's cool.
So that is a plus for the RV life. So one of the other things I think is a major good thing about the RV life is it gets you out of the slump. So back in our sticks and bricks of that life, we were busy. We were busy, doing the same things we had always done. And then when we made that transition to last kid leaves the house, you start re-examining, okay, now it's just us. Are we happy with this life?
Yeah, you start playing out in your mind. You're like, okay, so what are the next 10 years of my life going to look like if nothing really changes? We're still going to be living in this house. We're still going to be doing this in the evenings. We're probably going to be going to the same restaurants and eating all the time, which, you know, we loved our pet restaurants. We have a few in Sarasota, certainly. But, you know, you get into a rut.
Yeah.
And so you start, is this all there is? So if you have that itch to do this lifestyle, it will certainly scratch that itch. But there's a price to be paid. And we're going to talk about those things a little bit later.
Yeah. So let me just tell you guys, as a full-timer, if you're not full-timing yet, you really have something to look forward to. And what I mean by that is, you know, I've always been that person who looked forward to vacations, look forward to this or that coming up in the future. So RV life is that all the time. There's always something to look forward to that, you know, is coming, you know, oh, we're going to be in in Florida here, or oh, we're going to be in Utah, and then we're going to be in Oregon, and it's just like you kind of get excited about every move because it's something fresh, something new. And then just within the towns when you're there, just experiencing different cultures, different foods. It's really is. It's really something. It's been the thing that it fuels you past all of the things that you can consider as bad. And now we need to talk about that.
Okay, so let's talk about the reality of this life. And here's a good segue from what we had just talked about, which is looking forward to going to these cool places, right? And you're probably going to be there. We like to stay places for 2 weeks. Sometimes that just doesn't work out. We're just there for a week. And so what I've been experiencing a lot lately, it feels like, is that with those short time periods that we have, especially if we only have 5, we're there for a week, and I have to fix something on the RV or something, basically. I mean, if we don't have a furnace and it's getting super cold, all of a sudden my priorities changed just like that. And, when I thought I was going to go out on that cool e-bike ride or go fishing or do whatever I really wanted to do, now I can't. I have to prioritize this, so that it throws you curveballs. And because you're on a schedule, you have to leave on this certain date at this certain times. Because again, we both, I work a full-time job. I cannot travel Monday through Friday. It has to be weekends. Yeah. And so I have to prioritize things in a short period of time, and it makes it to where it kind of screws up our trips, and so that's something that I've really been feeling a lot lately. And, we're actually traveling right now all the way from Arizona. We're now in Austin, Texas. Next week, we're going to be in Louisiana. And not too far after that, we're going to be in Florida. Yeah. That's a lot of driving.
Now, I will say that's by our choice. We made the decision to go to California to see a friend for Thanksgiving, and we made the decision to schedule our family a vacation in New Orleans for Christmas. So we made that choice. If you slow down and you don't go that far and you don't travel that much, you can alleviate that problem. And we do most of the time. It's just this is a season where we have a lot of driving to do. But if you're not working and you can travel anytime, you may not even have some of those challenges other than you're going to be fixing stuff just like anybody else.
Yeah. So it is a reality check in that situation. And because if you're looking at this lifestyle and you're like us and that you both still have full-time jobs or whatever your situation is, but you have the ability to travel, just know that that's going to be a reality.
Yeah.
That things are going to break. Things aren't going to work quite right. You're going to have tire blowouts. You're going to think we haven't had that yet, but I'm sure it's coming.
Or weather doesn't cooperate and you lose the day that you wanted to do all the stuff and then you didn't get to do it. It doesn't happen a lot, especially if you plan your travel, to the right places at the right times of the year and things like that. But, it isn't always adventure and fun. It sometimes can be a real challenge to find balance in it all. And it's just something that is in there. It happens. So
yeah, if anything, it's taught us staying put is nice.
Yeah.
Because then you're just like, well, we've got 3 weeks here. We can spend the first week fixing all those little things that we need to deal with. And then we have the next couple weeks to do all the things that we want to do. And because if you think about traveling fast, when you only have 52 weekends out of the year to travel, and then you still have a full-time job, all that kind of stuff, you may be creating more problems for yourself than you realize.
Absolutely. So that's something to consider. Okay, so another thing that we didn't see coming is, you hear about it. Everyone talks about it can be really challenging on relationships. You're in a small setting. You're going, traveling can be stressful. You have moments, that everyone talks about and laughs about, the backing it in and the communication. It's true. It's all true.
Yeah, like we had a situation yesterday when we were driving through a part of Texas we'd never seen before. Awesome drive, actually. We went through El Paso and then came all the way to Austin. Gorgeous drive. And we had a quarter tank of gas. And Darlene said, well, there's a Love's just right up the highway. We'll be there long before we ever run out of gas. And then we realized that was not on our path. We actually had the highway turned and we were going in an opposite direction.
Yeah.
And then we got into these really remote areas where there wasn't, it's not that they didn't have diesel. It's just with our 44-foot toy hauler and 20-foot truck, it's really tough to get into regular gas stations. And so things got stressful because now you're starting to worry, like, we need to get gas. We've got an eighth of a tank, and if this gas station doesn't have gas, we're literally going to have to, I was going to have to pour the gas out of my gas can, go put diesel in it, put a little bit of gas in there so I can make it to the next town.
Yeah. So not good. I mean, it
worked out.
It totally worked out.
Yeah.
We found a place that we could fit. But that is two things. If you have a smaller rig, you may not have that challenge, but just a regular fifth wheel would have had trouble fitting into some of these gas stations. Let me just tell you that. But it was a trip planning thing. I kind of stopped planning our gas stops. After a while, you just get real comfortable, and you're like, we have the Open Roads TST app that we use to find gas stations that take it, and then we save money on fuel ups as diesel. So
it's a lot of money.
We save a lot of money. So we have a tendency to just go to, and Love's is our favorite because it's usually
love the Love's.
Yeah, easy in and easy out kind of thing. And I thought it was at the exit where we were getting off the highway, and it wasn't. So it was really kind of my fault, but it was a stressful situation. Things got heated. We'll just leave it there. And we've had that happen over and over. So yes, that is something that it happens more often than you think. It's usually due to lack of planning or lack of communication. So you learn to work past it. You learn, and this is another lesson, you learn to be patient with each other.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before in our videos, and I'll keep saying it because it's always going to be true, which is this life it has with it its challenges that you just don't have living in a sticks and bricks house. You're not getting up and moving your entire house every 1 or 2 weeks on the norm with your partner.
Yeah.
You just don't do that. And because with it comes all sorts of potential challenges, accidents, gas, having to reroute. It actually rerouted us yesterday, 30 minutes off course. And then it took us to a part of Austin where we were going up these massive hills and down these hills. And there's always a stoplight at the top of the hill, which you don't like. And there's one at the bottom of the hill, which you also don't like. So I was like gritting my teeth driving for about an hour through that area. And it
puts you on edge. And I think that creates moments where somebody's going to say something or do something to hurt the feelings of the other person. And you have to laugh at it because it does happen a lot. It's not funny in the moment, but it is something that it can be a challenge. And I just don't think you don't know about that part of full-time life until you just get out there and start experiencing it. So we hope it helps you be eyes wide open going into it. Okay. The last thing I think of when I think of the real, the good and the bad, this is the bad stuff that can occur in RV life that we just didn't see coming is, and you don't know this is coming at any time in life. People get sick, accidents happen, a family member gets sick and you need to go. And, there are always things that pop up. Here's the thing. You just handle it. If you haven't watched the accident video, we now refer to it as the accident video. I'll put the link on the screen and in the description. But I fell head first off of our patio of our toy hauler and had no brace either, just straight on my head, and had a pretty gnarly head and neck injury. And I'm still recovering. I mean, it's been 5 months now, and I still am dealing with aspects of it, but I was very, very fortunate. That was a huge wrench thrown in all of our plans. Our daughter was with us. It ruined the entire trip pretty much. We had all these boondocking plans in Colorado. We ended up at a crappy RV park for a month in Colorado Springs instead. So, it's stuff like that's going to happen. It's, again, how you bounce back from it.
Yeah, and not to mention that about 6 months before that, Darlene lost her job, and we didn't really see that coming. We felt like she had pretty good job security. We were wrong. And she lost her health insurance, which was my health insurance as well. And then we had a major accident, and now we did have insurance, but just not very good insurance.
No, it didn't hardly pay for what we're finding out is hardly pay for anything. So
yeah, and so
again, it's a curveball. You can fall in your sticks and bricks and hurt yourself too. But on the road, it gets a little bit more challenging. And, you know, part of me when it happened wanted to just go back home to our Indiana and friends and family and be there. Honestly, after I thought about it a while and after I realized I wasn't that hurt, it could have been, again, a lot worse. I was like, no, I'm going to recover. We're going to get back on track and we're going to keep going. And we did. It just has been a slower process and we had to change some of the adventures that we do have to be changed because I can't get rattled.
she can't risk falling off of a bike or anything like that.
Yeah. So it's just, again, hiccups happen. We had family members pass away and we couldn't both go because we were so far away. So Barry flew and I just stayed at the rig with the dog, and it's not ideal, but sometimes you just have to go, okay, let's work this out. And I just say that because a lot of people worry about those kind of things in full-time RV life. And in the 2 years, we've had some doozies. And again, we worked them all out. And that's what I will tell you is don't fear the unknown. You don't want to do that in life in general. Just know that you have the ability to work past it.
So we just want to wrap up this video by just making a few points, which is if you're thinking about doing this lifestyle and you're having some doubts, but you're really excited about the thought of doing it, just do it, man. Because maybe you're super into going to all like all the national parks because you just see all these great videos and all this stuff and you're thinking, oh my God, that just looks so amazing. They are amazing. The fact that you can get like a national park pass for like $70, it's the best deal ever because you can just go in these parks and spend all this time. You know, or maybe like with me, I love to fish. Sometimes I go out and I'm able to fish on these gorgeous rivers in Colorado. I mean, things that I've literally dreamt about doing for years and never thought that I'd see myself doing. And here I am, you know, and so it is worth it. But just realize that, yes, there's a trade-off in that your RV is going to break, your vehicle is going to break, your relationship is going to be put under stress. All the things that we've talked about, there is a trade-off.
Yeah.
And you can try to make them better. You can, I mean, if you're already handy, you're already Mr. Fix-It, awesome. It's going to be less difficult for you. Yeah. Kudos to you.
Yeah. And it is something. I mean, this, when I had the idea for this video, it was more like, I just want to be really authentic and real about the good and the bad of full-time RV life, because a lot of channels, God bless them, they paint a beautiful picture and they show you these amazing places they go, but they don't always talk about the challenges of the life and how it changes you. I mean, I think it's made us more patient and, you know, we have worked things out in a way that I'm kind of proud of us, you know, for doing that so that we can continue to do this for years to come.
So we're super excited to announce that just last week we released a course. It's a course called Your Path to Full-Time Freedom. I'm reading over there.
It's kind of a mouthful.
A comprehensive online course for going full-time RV. If you're just thinking about this, or maybe we're just one of 1,000 YouTube videos that you've watched in the last couple weeks.
Doing all your research.
Yeah, we've been there, done that. And you're just gathering all this information. You're going to RV shows. Maybe you've bought your RV, maybe you haven't. You know, maybe you've RV'd a lot, maybe you've camped for years, but this whole idea of going full-time, doing it, traveling around the country, trying to figure out how to uproot your life and go on the road with your spouse or whoever you're going with, or just by yourself, whatever, and you're overwhelmed.
Yeah.
This is for you.
Yeah.
We made this course we made it for the Barry and Darlene who existed 3 years ago that didn't know anything, that would have really wished they had one place to go, that they could go in and just get all the answers that they need. Yeah. And so that's what this is, but it's not just a course. It's also a community where you can ask questions of us and the other people in our community. That's included as part of it. So we'll put the link down below, and we are so excited about it because we just know it's going to help you avoid a lot of mistakes that we made.
Yeah. Costly mistakes. So that's why we created it. Honestly, guys, we looked back and like, what would have helped us the most back then? And it is everything, every aspect of going full time, whether you're selling your house or not, renting your house, if you have a rig, if you don't have a rig, if you're trying to just decide, can I do this?
Yeah, the financials, that's a big one.
Yeah.
You know, walking people through the money.
Yeah. And we really spell out the things that I think aren't talked about a lot when it comes to budgeting. We really go deep into that. And then as well as the how-to. Again, we have a fifth wheel. So we are going to give a lot more examples of fifth wheel living.
Yeah, I don't know how to do anything on a Class A, but you know, maybe we'll get to that eventually.
Eventually. But a lot of the stuff is the same, no matter what kind of rig you have. It's the emotional journey. It's the, what do I do with my mail? You know,
most asked question.
How do I get a domicile?
Mm-hmm.
You know, how do I make this work for the long haul and do it right without wasting a lot of money and time? And this is what does it. And when Barry talks about community, what it is a private Facebook group that you have to call home and be around people that are going through the same thing as you are, either transitioning to full time, working towards it, whether it's this year or 5 years from now. And you can ask us questions anytime in that community, and we're going to help get those answers for you.
Yeah.
And I needed that when we were getting going. I needed someone to encourage me and help me with these, you know, I thought were stupid questions that I sometimes didn't want to put in the Facebook groups out there, because you get beat up for saying things sometimes.
That's not allowed. We said there's no jerks allowed in our group, and we're the admins, so we can kick you out.
So it is a safe place and a fun place to come learn, get you through this transition to get you on the road full time. And I'll put all the information down in the description. I'll put a QR code on the screen, or you can go to likethere'snotomorrow.net and learn all about the course. So we hope you join us, because it's already gathering to be a really cool group of people. So that's all for us this week. And we hope to see you in that community soon and in the next video. And we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.